All right, welcome. This is Multi-Man Publishing Standard Combat Series North Africa, playing the Crusader scenario. Pretty much at the end, uh, nobody can win. It's a stalemate. The British win by having Tobruk relieved in the primary line, primary road all the way back to off-board here. We got a block here. We got a block here, and even these guys have a block here. And the Germans win by holding Bardia, but they were kicked out during the last, earlier in this full activation by the Brits. And Rommel, well, he escaped somehow and is over here now. So what I wanted to do in this video was just kind of finish out the turn. We've got the British exploit phase, and then the Germans can do a react, but their two supplies were taken out here, so they can't do a full activation and try and retake Bardia. So that's why, from the scenario point of view, it's a stalemate. The interesting thing in the back of my head is, if this was a campaign game, would either side have let it go this far, because the losses are rather substantial here. And I can see where this game is a series of battles and then recover, build up supplies, and then battle again, as opposed to your traditional just line of forces, etc. But anyway, like I said, the British exploit phase is left, and they can move this guy and these two guys. Now, it would be nice, there will be surrenders at the end of the turn for anybody out of supply, and the British can't get supply from the main road still, so they can get it from Tobruk, but I don't think these are enough units to block off the Germans from interdicting this road here. But they're going to give it their best shot, and if they can't do that, they'll take the longer view of simulate, if this is a campaign game, how do you defend Tobruk. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and do the move, and then come back after the move and talk about what the Brits did. All right, we're back following the British exploit move. Played around with it. There was no way really to seal this road, so protect this road from the Germans shutting it down. So they just went with getting these units back here to try and strengthen the stripped Tobruk defense lines here. So hopefully this will prevent any Germans from coming in here. They did occupy the fortress again. That was important. And none of these guys could move, so it doesn't matter. So that's the British exploit phase. And now what we're left with is the Germans can do a reaction move within 10 hexes of a unit. Probably going to be this guy. And they're able to move all their units within 10 of that. And then that'll be the end of the game. So from the Germans' point of view, they do want to make sure, well, they block supply here, so they don't have to worry about that. So looking at it from a campaign game point of view, they don't have a lot of forces left either. But could they threaten breaking in to Tobruk? I don't think so, because they're only going to get 2 supply next turn, and the Brits are going to get some. But we're not playing a campaign game, so anyway, so that was the exploit move here, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to pause again and do the German reaction move. And back again. The German reaction move, yeah, they did choose the our ARD anti-tank battalion as their activation point. And basically all the Germans pulled back here to be within 10 of their supply, which starts here. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all the German units are in supply. The only German unit out of supply is the units on Sid Barani. Way out of supply, but they've served their purpose. So looking at this, I mean, if this game continued. Well, I've got to do the surrender rolls, but we can look at it after that to see if Rommel could actually make a play at taking Tobruk, or would he have to kind of fall back, or almost like starting over again? But in this case, the British are firmly in control of Bardia and up to the Tobruk lines here. In actuality, after Crusader, Rommel fell back all the way back to El Alagil. I could potentially see that coming out of this. So, but I did go ahead and do the surrender rolls. And this guy actually is out of supply just because he's got Zoc surrounding him. And when I rolled, I did roll 1, 2, or 3. I mean, I rolled the surrender for him, so he's gone. And unfortunately here, well, we got it exactly 50% here. So yeah, these 2 units are gone for surrender. I think, yeah, this guy, I made him upside down, and then these 2 stayed. So the Brits are still firmly in control. This guy surrendered. But the good news for the Brits are both these Italians surrendered. So now they're back in supply. So moving into the next turn, if I was playing the campaign game, I'm just looking at this, December. Yeah, access 1 supply, CW 3 supply. So Rommel's options are not good. He's going to get 1 supply. They're going to get 3, so they could do an attack even if they wanted. So it would be interesting, and it would be straight initiative this time. And there's some rebuilding too. If I was playing the campaign game, they'd get some units back. But this would literally be fighting until everybody's destroyed. So, played the game differently than a campaign because this scenario, it ends now. And the key was holding Bardia. And that's what it all revolved around. And the Brits do get their stalemate. Could they have held on? Probably. I don't see, especially with the trenches here and the fortresses, I don't see, and only 1 supply. They can't call in artillery and airstrikes. Yeah, I don't see the Germans taking Tobruk. So what the Germans could do is somehow entrench here. But then we've got the problem, well, the Brits don't have a lot of units, but I think they'd rebuild faster. So kind of similar here. Does Rommel want to stay out here while the Brits are rebuilding faster? Let me check the turn track again. Guess we gotta zoom in on this. There we go. So if I was playing the campaign game, yeah, here it is. 1 Italian, 1 German, and 2 CW. Okay, airstrike. Yeah, but here's your problem. The Germans only have 1. The CW could sit for 2 turns and they'd have 6. So they could maybe try some flanking maneuvers. It would be interesting, but the Commonwealth has a clear advantage in supplies going forward. Axis don't get it again until April of 42. And replacements are the same. And I'm not looking at the reinforcement track either. But yeah, this should pretty much draw to an end. It was kind of wild and woolly. Got to do a better job protecting supplies on both sides. This is a game of the offensive, not the defensive, is my impression, just with open terrain and fast movement factors. And then a big thing is to figure out when to stop. Because I knew the scenario end was good, I could play these sides to exhaustion, but in a campaign game, it changes the complexion. The other thing is because it's so fluid movement, it seemed easy to get behind and throw some sacrificial units to cut off supply at the end of a turn. I don't know if that's a common play. I don't know how realistic that is, but if I played again, I'd be concerned about protecting my supply lines more too, as we saw for both sides there. So I question that. And the surrenders, like here we have a case of units surrendering who, but I'm left with the question of to whom? There's nobody here. So, you know, combined with that maybe gamey idea of sending armored cars into the rear of the enemy to block their supply, the surrender when nobody's really around, I don't know. These units aren't permanently eliminated. They can come back, and there's reinforcements, but they don't come back very fast. Again, looking at the turn track, 2, 4, 6, 8, it would take some time, but they'd come back. The Germans, yeah, they don't want one Italian, one German. They want 2 Germans. But it looks pretty consistent here. So yeah, the campaign game probably would have stopped the attack sooner, because in the long run they can't afford this level of losses. But either way, it was exciting. If you watched all the videos, you'll see it was seesaw. Seemed like the Brits were doing good, and then the Germans doing good, and then the Brits desperately fought back for a stalemate. So all in all, it was a good experience. Would be nice to do a full campaign game, but my suspicion here is at this point I'm probably going to shift to, well, maybe SCS Day of Days, but I'm also drawn to, well, since tomorrow is, as I record this, Barbarossa, I believe. I may be doing another MMP game that covers the Barbarossa attack, Army Group Center, North, South. Yeah, victory awaits. A victory awaits using the AVL rules, which are not too hard. Tetsuya Nakamura. Don't know if I pronounced that right. So I'm really tempted to kind of maybe not do D-Day this time, but jump right into Operation Barbarossa here and try that game out next too. So anyway, I'm going to end it here. This is an intriguing game, the full campaign game. I may have to dust this off again before the end of the year and try a campaign game, or maybe even Connor's offensive at the beginning against the Italians, just to see how it plays out. Well, yeah, I'll give this game a thumbs up. A lot of decisions to make, a lot of movement, mobility. I don't know if, as you're waiting to rebuild your forces and supplies, those turns move relatively quickly, so you're not spending a lot of time doing nothing. But that would be interesting to play out too. So anyway, if you've listened, I appreciate it. If you like, click like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And otherwise, I may be seeing you here soon for Operation Barbarossa. So thanks for listening and see you next time.